Hey y'all, it's Taylor from Dames a la Mode, and today I'm starting a quick, simple, well, hopefully quick and simple project, and that is a early 1900s corset cover from Wearing History. So this is part of my White Sands dress project. I need to get the corset cover made before I make my bodice for the dress, so this is kind of like an in-between project before I can get it done. So this is one of the Wearing History archive couture patterns, and these patterns are based off of historical sewing patterns. So these are really good for expert sewers. You really need to be sort of like an advanced level of sewing because they come with really limited instructions. They don't have a lot of markings on the patterns. And Lauren from Wearing History has cleaned them up a little bit to make sure that they, actually fit together and everything. And she gives some basic instructions, but these are not as detailed as like a beginning sewing pattern would be, or her other Wearing History patterns, which of course do have the regular directions. So this is just something for the archive couture. They're also only one size. So for example, this one has a 34-inch bust, which is significantly smaller than mine, so I'll have to make a lot of changes to this pattern, but it's a really simple piece. And since I did her 1901 dressing jacket, morning jacket, I can't remember what it was called, that one was actually hard. So I figured if I could do that one, then I feel prepared to sort of start working on this one too. So I'm gonna kind of jump in and hopefully it'll work out okay for me. And here we go. Oh my God, I just realized that I'm wearing my Wearing History t-shirt too, so this is so meant to be. I swear this wasn't planned. Wild. This is a print-at-home pattern, so the first step is laying out the pattern, taping, and cutting out the pattern pieces. This is such a simple and small garment that this was a mercifully quick process. I usually hate print-at-home patterns because I find the laying out to be really tedious, but this one only took me a few minutes. Hi, voiceover Taylor here. Unfortunately, when I got to editing, I realized my microphone was off and I missed all of this audio I was recording here, which is my entire explanation of all the alterations I am making. Video making is so much fun, and it definitely doesn't make me want to scream into a pillow. Please don't look at my mouth while you're listening to my voice here, because it will make your brain hurt. I'm so sorry. I made two significant changes to this pattern. The first was lengthening the shoulder area. I have a very long torso, which includes a long shoulder to bust measurement. I always have to lengthen my shoulder measurements. I also need to increase the overall width of the pattern since my bust measurement is about 10 inches larger than the pattern. I think for most people you would want to add width to both the front and the back of the pattern, but I have a very narrow back and I often have to take out a considerable amount of width on the back panels. So as an experiment here, I'm leaving the original back pattern and only adding width to the front of the panels of this pattern. I have no idea if this is going to work, so there's some experimentation going on here, but I'm going to add several inches to the front measurement. Side note, why do I make so many weird faces when I talk? I'm going to split the shoulder and add 4 inches of length to it. This is a lot, I know, but I truly have an unusual upper body. I'm using a product called Pellin True Grid to make my adjustments. This is a sheer gridded fabric paper blend that I use a lot in my sewing, and I'll link to it in the video description down below. I'm cutting out the mock-up from a simple cotton muslin. Once it's all cut out, all I need to do is pin up the side seams and do a quick try on. This really is an amazingly simple garment. Alright, so this looks kind of crazy right now, but this is actually a pretty good fit. The back is particularly nice. If you can see, it's got a nice snug fit there. It is a little bit long on the side, which is why I'm getting some wrinkling here. And part of that is probably because I lengthened the shoulder piece too much, but this actually fits me really nice. So if I made that any shorter, it would be really, really tight here on my arm and it wouldn't give me a lot of room. So adding length here means that I need to shorten some length here. Now it looks really crazy in the front because this is all going to be gathered up and bloused, so it'll be sort of a one of those pigeon breast style things to fill out my bodice, so that's okay. And the top is actually going to be finished with what's called a beading lace, which allows a ribbon to be run through it so it can be drawn in. So it's loose and gappy right now, but that's actually intentional. So this actually is, gosh, this is pretty good. I think I'm just going to trim off a little bit here on this actual piece, and then I'm just going to try it on again and take a look and see how that looks. But I'm pretty happy with these alterations that I made to it. All right, it is day 2 of my sewing project. I have the pattern all worked out. I think I can make this today. I mean, it's so simple. There's like 2 seams and a few hems, and then I have to add some lace to it and making a button stand. That's going to be the hardest part, is putting the buttonholes in, especially because my machine has been kind of weird about buttonholes lately, so I'm just going to keep my fingers crossed that's going to work out. But I'm going to do my best to get this all taken care of today, and hopefully by the end of the day today I will have a new corset cover. Keep your fingers crossed for me. The fabric I'm using for my corset cover is a cotton lawn, which is a very sheer, lightweight fabric. It's really beautiful, but it's so delicate that it needs to be used consciously. Something like a whisper-thin corset cover is the perfect use. This pattern has a clever way of making the button stand, and I'm marking out those lines as the first step in the sewing process, and then I finish the front edges of the garment. After finishing the front edges, I sewed up the side seams. I finished the sides with French seams since this is a fabric that is delicate and prone to unraveling. This is just going to make them a little bit more secure. This was the only hard sewing in the whole garment. Between these being cut on the bias and the natural wiggliness of cotton lawn, I really had to guide this fabric through my machine. But seriously, everything else is so easy. From there, it was only sewing up the top and bottom hems, which I did just by turning them under 1/4 inch twice and then sewing them down. One of the really cool things about this pattern is that it actually laces at the top with something called a beading lace. This is a style of lace that has openings in it, so you can run a gathering string or ribbon through the top of it, so that it gathers up really nicely. It's a really beautiful feature of this corset cover and one of the reasons that I wanted to make it so badly. But despite having a plethora of laces in my collection, I actually don't have any beading lace at all. And I really want to get this done, and I don't want to run out and get it. Probably the closest thing that I have is this sort of crocheted lace. It's some sort of trim, and I actually have quite a good amount of it. Where are you coming from? I really need to organize my lace drawers. As you can see, it's kind of a mess in here. Where's the end of you? There we go. So I think this is what I'm going to use. It's definitely not as delicate and as frothy as you would normally see on Edwardian stuff, but it's what I have on hand. It's going to be an under layer, so I'm not going to be too worried about it, and I'm just going to use this because it's already a mustache. Aha! I knew that I had more of this. I actually have a whole lot of this, which I bought at an antique store in Alabama. I just bought the whole roll. And this actually is available on my website at damesalamode.com if you want to get some of this for yourself, because obviously there's more here than I will ever use in my whole lifetime. It's nice stuff, but I got a lot of it, and I can happily share some of it with you guys. I have my beading lace, well, my beading lace pinned on. Typically, beading lace has a top and bottom border, so you can sew on both sides, which helps to anchor it. But this one really, I don't have that option, so I'm just gonna sort of sew it along this top, and I'm just gonna hope that when I lace it through here, it's gonna have the right tension and it's gonna hold down, because what I really don't wanna have to do is go in and like sew all these little wiggly bits down. So I'm gonna sew this on the lazy way, which is just zigzag the top, and then I'm gonna lace the ribbon through, and then I'm gonna try actually pulling it and seeing if it gathers like it's supposed to, and I hope so. So I want to use silk ribbon on my beading lace, but I don't really know if I have anything that's going to be appropriate for it. Most of my silk ribbons are like really wide, and I need something pretty narrow to go through my beading. Boy, I have like this little scrap of white satin, but that's not big enough. Oh, you know what? I have like this embroidery ribbon. Oh, I've already started doing something with this. Why? Why do I do these things to myself? I wonder if I can... All right, let's pull this out and see. I have a lot of like black, narrow black silk ribbon, but I really don't want to use black on it because this is going under a sheer white dress, so that's not going to be any good. Let's see. So this probably actually is a nice size for it, but I don't know what length I have. Oh, there's actually a lot. Okay. All right, so I think I'm going to use this. I'll just cut off this little braid that I made, which I've already ruined because apparently I cut off the brown. I don't even know what I was doing with this. Do you have things like that where they're like these weirdo mystery projects? Okay. So this is what I'll use, and I think I have enough of this creamy color for both the neckline and the waist. All right, so I have this done, and basically exactly what I worried about is what happened. Wait, how do I film this? Ooh, here we go. Which is that this all just like flipped the wrong direction when I gathered it up. So now the like pointy bits are sort of poking up, but I kind of don't hate the effect. Like it gives it this really delicate lacy look to it. So it's not what I intended to do, but I'm sort of okay with it. Now, one thing I realized is that I thought I left all this extra room for it to blouse, but it really kind of fits me like exactly perfectly in the waist because these get turned back several times to make the button stand and the facing. It sort of ate up a lot of extra fabric. Now, obviously, I don't have my corset on right now, which does reduce my waist measurement a little bit, so there'll be a little bit of blousing, but not anywhere near as much as I had anticipated in the beginning. So, oh well. I mean, you know, it is what it is. At least it'll be delicate. That is what I wanted, something lightweight. So, it is certainly that. All right, I have the lace now on the bottom and on the top. It looks pretty good. There actually is a little bit of blousiness in the front. I don't have the buttons on yet, so this is just like flopping open right now. But as soon as I get the buttons on, you'll see how it closes there. I'm really, really happy with the fit in the back because it means I'm not going to add any extra bulk to my waist or my back. My previous corset covers are a little bit loose back there, so they don't fit as well. So this one is much nicer. Boy, I'm really happy with the way this turned out. And it was so easy to put together once I had the pattern done that I know I could easily like throw together like 5 or 6 of these and just have it ready to go. Cute. The only thing left to do is that I need to finish off the sleeves here, which I'm going to do just by sewing down a little bit more of this lace because I have so much of it. It'll just be a nice little decorative finish. And then putting on the buttonholes, and then done. All done. Well, except for the buttons. I decided I wanted to do snaps instead of buttons, but I don't have any snaps on hand, so I had to order some. Hopefully they will arrive sometime soon, and I can get this finished. For now, I just have it pinned closed at the front. The next one of these I make, and I will definitely be making more, will have a wider front for more blousing and some proper beading lace. I probably could have made it a bit longer in the back, but this is certainly sufficient. I'm so happy with this pattern, and thank you to Wearing History. This isn't a sponsored video or anything, I just really, really like her patterns. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe, and check out my channel for more historical costuming adventures. Boy, this chair is really creaky. I'm gonna sit really still. There's so much traffic outside. Oh my god, there's a bus outside now. Wearing History.